Turn on your inner light show. It's time to stop just surviving, and it's time to begin to thrive. It's time to live happier and healthier. Turn stress into strength. Noted author Debbie Mandel will show you how to move beyond personal doubts and fears and into positive perception to turn on your inner light. Here's your host, Debbie Mandel.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my show. Our guest expert is Judy Prescott, a professional actress, and you might have seen her on Trueblood, Grey's Anatomy, Cold Case, and Bones, and she is the author of Searching for Cecy, Reflections on Alzheimer's. This is a book of poetry by a daughter who is struggling with her mother's dementia. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you, Debbie. It's so nice to be with you.
Now, what is the purpose of your book? Is it for self-help, for others, or is it personal catharsis or therapy? And what is poetic about Alzheimer's?
Yeah, well, I live far from my mother. She's in Maine and I'm in California, and I was having such a hard time being so far from her when she was ill, and something would be bothering me that I couldn't quite understand, and I would write. I've written for many years. I've written poems, and I just started to write these poems at these moments of sort of being very overwhelmed and not sure what I was feeling, and trying to help define that for myself. And also, you know, it's a situation that's so very out of control. Alzheimer's, it gave me a sense of control, although we all know we have no control in this life. So it's been extremely helpful to me to have written them.
So in other words, you're telling me that it helped you to structure your emotions, to cope. I want to concretize that.
Exactly. It helped me to understand what I was feeling. There would be something in my heart that felt terribly heavy or that I couldn't understand, or what was it? How could I find the beauty in what I was feeling? Because there is so much beauty there because of the immense love I have for my mother. That's such a gift. And I wanted to take the pain and the struggle and the Alzheimer's and figure it out for myself, find the beauty in it, find the strength.
That's very inspirational, and I don't think it's a platitude. I mean, listeners might say, yeah, Alzheimer's real beautiful, but my mother had Alzheimer's, and I found the beauty in it in terms of that affirming love. Even when my mother didn't know what planet she was on, there was something visceral between us that was so loving and so eternal. So people thought I was crazy, but I really see that there's something very pure there, and in the moment. It taught me to let go, to be in the moment. I need to ask you, why the accompanying artwork to juxtapose with the poems?
Well, I was writing the poems. I had never intended to write a book. I was writing for myself. And my Aunt Petey, I call her Petey in the book, her proper name is Roseanne. When she was young, her mother called her Petunia, so she's Aunt Petey. Mm-hmm. But she's my father's sister. She's lovely. My parents are divorced, and yet Aunt Petey continued to visit my mother. And when I was here, she was visiting for me. She's a wonderful artist, but what she began doing is taking photographs for me. She would go and photograph my mother and then make them into these stunning collages that were just sort of like a bird on her shoulder or something amazing they were so powerful. So I said to her, Aunt Petey, what do you think? Would you consider, how about if we match these beautiful collages with my poetry? Because I think there's something there, and maybe we could make a book. Maybe we could try to make something. And she's very sort of lovely woman, shy, quiet. It was too much to ask of her to do all these poems that I was coming up with, but she said, yeah, I can give you a few. And we started there, and then I said, well, how about if I ask your daughter Anne, who's my first cousin? She's so talented. And she said, of course, and she gave me artwork. And then I asked my brother Tom, who's another stunning painter, and he gave me his artwork. And then Aunt Sue, who's Aunt Petey's first double cousin, my father's also, she's the same age, 70s, and so they just started sending me this gorgeous work, which was so healing for me, because then I could, I don't know, it made beauty for me. It made something beautiful out of this situation.
I always recommend to people who are very stressed through loss, could be loss of a person, loss of a job, loss of a home, to engage in creative compensation. So that the creativity seems to fill a hole. There's both creative and destructive forces at work.
Yes.
And everything is alive and dead at the same time. We have cells that are dying and cells that are dividing, and you'll find that in trees. That's the feeling I got when I read your poems.
Oh, nice.
So
thank you. Yeah.
Is that something I'm projecting?
No,
that's
such a beautiful thing. That's exactly what I think it is. It's almost like the phoenix out of the ashes, just me trying, yes, to find this life and death connection. Yes, they're so connected. They're the same in my mind.
Now, I found images in your poems, and I want to ask you if there was this golden thread. I found a lot of water images, yes, Maine.
Yes.
Maine was coming, and birds. I felt that these were the dominant images, and I want to ask you if there's a psychological or universal message you were trying to convey to help other caregivers.
Well, how interesting. Yeah, water as the universal solvent, yes. It's something that soothes. It soothed me as a child. I grew up in the summertime on the coast of Maine, and I always went and sat on the rocks and looked at the ocean, and everything was all right. There is something a caregiver needs. A caregiver needs to have a rock to sit on, to look out, to see that beautiful water, where everything, it just makes so much more sense. There's such a greater purpose. And the water imagery, for me, yes, it's almost like a lullaby. It's peace for me. The birds, my mother always said she wished she were a seagull, like Chekhov, like Nina in
I'm going to have to hold that,
yes.
but I don't want to rush it
Yeah.
because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But we're going to commercial break, and we will return with Judy Prescott, Searching for Cecy, Reflections on Alzheimer's.
Now you can take Debbie Mandel home with you. Her book, Turn On Your Inner Light, Fitness for Body, Mind, and Soul, will help you decompress with healthy, positive, concrete solutions. Common life challenges are presented so that you can quickly find the help you need. Emotional tips, original meditations, and a fun and easy-to-follow fitness workout for each mindset. This revolutionary new method will help you rewire mind and body to take back your power. Get it on Amazon.
Are you overwhelmed with the burden of taking care of children, parents, or both? Are you taking care of everyone else except yourself? It's time to change your habits and re-energize. Debbie Mandel gives you an innovative and easy-to-follow program for good health and happiness. In her magical new book, Changing Habits, The Caregiver's Total Workout, Debbie Mandel shows you step-by-step how to find the optimal balance between giving and receiving, and guides you to exercise and eat right to take care of yourself. What are you waiting for? Read Changing Habits and start training for your life. Life does not need to be a burden. Get Changing Habits, The Caregiver's Total Workout, on Amazon.
You're listening to the Turn On Your Inner Light show. I'm your host, Debbie Mandel, and I'm speaking with Judy Prescott, author of Searching for Cecy, Reflections on Alzheimer's. Now, Judy, before commercial break, we were talking about the golden thread, the motif running through your poems, and you eloquently described the water imagery.
Yeah.
We were on the birds.
The birds, yes. My mother she was Irish, and she is Irish, and she has a very funny, sharp wit and temper, and And she would often say she wished she were a bird so she could actually poop on people who had upset her in her life. Lovely imagery. But she loved birds. She wanted to be a bird. She loved Jonathan Livingston Seagull. She loved birds. She saw the beauty in them. For me, birds are extraordinary creatures. They suffer loss so beautifully. They handle loss beautifully. I don't know how many times I've seen a nest that has been ravaged by a snake, or where the eggs have been eaten, or the eggs have fallen, and the birds just always pick up and go on and find another nest, find another way. They live in the weather. They're extraordinary creatures, and I think maybe that is a reason why I use so much of their imagery.
A couple of things came up for me as the reader, because once you write a book, it's your child, and other people will see what they projected to it. For me, water represents feelings.
Yeah.
The depth of feelings. And while my mother had Alzheimer's, I would have these dreams where my mother was drowning in cold water and I was trying to pull her out. Or there'd be floods coming into her apartment from the sea. But it is that kind of water, which is our emotions. It was obviously my
Beautiful.
feelings.
Yeah.
And then my mother used to always feed birds. All the dry crust, especially in the winter time. So birds were always an image I associated with my mother.
How amazing!
And yeah.
Oh my God, you just reminded me that my mother was watching. There was an owl that would come to her window. She lived in Maine, and in the winter it would sit and look in at her, and it was a great friend for her. She was in the early stages, and I didn't even know it yet. But the owl one day disappeared. And she had her friend, Julie, who's a very talented painter, come and paint that on the wall next to her window. And, yes, how interesting. How interesting, birds and water.
And birds seem to be the spirit of the spirit world.
Yeah.
So I think we have the emotions and the spirit, how we can find our way out. Now, I would be honored if you would read a poem.
Sure.
And
love to.
And I could suggest one, but you're the poet, and you're free to read whatever you like. For me, I think a good representative sample for our listeners might be Vanishing, and if that resonates for you, I would love for you to read it.
Sure, I would love to read this poem. Okay, Vanishing. Mother, I'm tired. I've tried to bury you, resurrect you, rediscover you. I'm in a magic disappearing booth waiting for the trick to end. What kind of magician would allow me to step out of the booth into a world devoid of you? That's it. That's Vanishing.
Now, at what stage did you write this poem?
This was written early on. This was written in the years the years before I had my child. When I was visiting her quite often, I would often live with her. When she was in the dementia ward, they allowed me to stay there with her. So I became sort of part of the community, and I would eat with them and sleep with them, and do what they did, and do the events and musical things. It was a powerful time. It helped me to step into their shoes and to understand better. And yet, as you can imagine, it was terribly sad, and yet I loved it.
Yes. In fact, I write about Alzheimer's, and I advise caregivers or family members who aren't there to see the world through Alzheimer's eyes, because that helps to restore dignity to the person afflicted with it, and to give us a way to have greater compassion as opposed to frustration. And I thought, aside from me knowing the chronology of the poems, but I felt at this point there was this yearning for magic.
Yes.
For the miracle.
Yes.
For making a deal.
To make, exactly. The magical thinking. Yes. And Joan Didion's words, yes.
So that's why I picked it, because this is the point for everyone where we wish we could change it, or something would come, something supernatural, would save us, and I thought that would be very touching. The last poem had a almost a childlike rhyme scheme.
Yes. And
could you explain your thoughts regarding
Yes.
that?
Was it the one you're thinking of, In Confidence?
Yes.
Yes. It's very much me, this poem, and it's me looking at my ridiculousness of not being able to move on, and to, I talk about wearing a cape, yes, a lovely large cape, and no one can really see that I have a huge hole beneath my left shoulder that the wind whistles through. Yes, it's sort of, I could read it for you if you'd like. It's a very...
You know what? I would love to do that. We're going to commercial break, and I don't want to interrupt the middle of a poem, and then please read it. That would be great. We will return with Judy Prescott, Searching for Cecy. Dear listeners, I'm excited to tell you about my new book, Addicted to Stress. This is a message you need to hear. Are you addicted to stress? Do you do it all while everyone depends on you? Where's all this pressure coming from? It is coming from inside you. This is why my publisher, John Wiley, asked me to write Addicted to Stress, a woman's 7-step program to reclaim joy and spontaneity in life. This fun-to-read book teaches proven strategies to reclaim your life, silence your inner critic, build a healthy body, and reframe your thoughts to change your life for the better. Dare to be happy without the guilt. Addicted to Stress is easy to get. It's available at Barnes & Noble and other fine bookstores everywhere. You can also buy it at Amazon and other online retailers. We're back with Searching for Cecy, and Judy's going to read a poem for us. I want to tell you something, Judy, that's very honest coming from me in this way. I was hesitant about, in a show about stress management, to do your poems. Because I wondered, how would this art really instruct other caregivers? But then when I read them, I realized how we could learn to tap into our feelings and see how we all share these struggles, the guilt, the anger, the frustration. And sometimes, you know what, we learn more from the poem than if I gave you a few how-tos with bullets. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's why I thought how perfect for our listeners.
Beautiful.
To see the universal coping.
Yes. And I find it's so funny, but the more absolutely specific I am about either myself or my mom, the more universal it is.
Yes. The paradox. Now, would you read In Confidence? I don't want to be cut off.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. In Confidence. I wear a cape as I walk down the street, a lovely large cape that goes down to my feet. I fasten it carefully beneath my chin. The wind is so furious and I am so thin. Well, that is the story I'm willing to tell. The truth is quite different. I'm not little Nell. There's a hole here, you see, the size of a pie plate, beneath my left shoulder. Yes, it seems this is my fate. The wind whistles through me in the key of plain C. I've tried humming and singing and slapping my knee. Nothing will stop this loud hullabaloo. I think if you heard it, you'd wear a cape too. The hole can't be filled in, no matter the angle. Mud is too heavy and yarn just a tangle. Been empty a while now, I can't say just when. I've kicked out 2 sparrows, a mouse, and a wren. This hole is my lot, and I'm sure you'll agree. The Cape offers solace for kazoo playing me. I'm open to any new options you hear of. The quickest of fixes are ones I steer clear of. The truth is, a part of me's out on vacation. To see her again would be cause for elation. I dream that she knows me and utters my name. To achieve this small feat would end this whole game. The hole would fill in. It would be a fine day. I'd hang up my cape, try to dress a new way. But for now, I'll keep whistling and searching the sky for a sign that all's well, that there's no need to cry. I'll walk, run, and stumble until I learn why the tune that I'm playing can't fathom goodbye.
And you see, this poem touched me because it was the yearning for that mother-daughter relationship, the way it once was, with your mother not being the child.
That's
and
right.
You being the parent.
That's exactly right.
The reversal.
Yes.
So and this childlike yearning, but with the sophisticated images and the rhyme scheme. I was so impressed how the structure and the content came together.
Yeah. Oh, that's very kind.
No, I'm not kind. I'm a straight talker. That's how it hit me.
You're awesome. Yeah, I have been. You know, it's so silly, but I spend an awful lot of time reading to my daughter, Dr. Seuss, and he's an absolute genius, so it must have, rubbed off.
Well, I think that you have a history of writing poetry, so it's not let me sit down and write some poems on forgetfulness today. Yes. It's in your blood, and it's something that you've honed over the years, and it's just so fine, and the juxtaposed images go so beautifully with the poems. It's so well considered, your book. It's really very helpful on a spiritual level, an emotional level, and when you do that physically, you de-stress.
Oh, Hannah, yes, I would hope so. As you said, I started writing when I was very young, when my best friend died suddenly of heart failure, and it was a way to cope as a small child, and it served me very well.
And it has prepared you, as many of our poets before you have said, to befriend sorrow, so that when you need it, it is there, and you can have a circuit in the brain. Well, I wish you very well, and a smooth transition.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. It's so lovely to speak with you, and I really appreciate your depth and your introspection. It's helpful to me.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. And the continuity of life, that immortal chain through your daughter.
Oh,
I'm happy that that's there, too.
Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.
Affirmation of the week. It's time to take an inventory of your life. And now for the latest medical trends. There are new clues as to why some older people are losing their memory. New research links silent strokes or small spots of dead brain cells found in about 1 out of 4 older adults regarding memory loss in the elderly. And this is published in the Journal of Neurology. When people are sleep deprived, they consume almost 300 calories a day more than when they are well rested. And ice cream is one of their favorite foods when they're tired. I'm going to be more vigilant about that. And I guess we could lose weight while we sleep. That works for me. For the first time in 30 years, poisoning, largely by drugs, has trumped car crashes as the leading cause of death by injury in the U.S., according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 9 out of 10 deaths by poisonings, whether intentional or not, have been the result of legal or illegal drug use. We have to pay attention to that. New research shows that teens who are able to express themselves to their mothers, I might add, are better able to resist peer pressure and say no to drugs and alcohol, according to research published in the journal Child Development. And if you are overweight, where your fat is deposited makes all the difference. Now, we know about weight around the middle, but did you know that big thighs signify better health regarding heart disease and premature death than thin thighs, according to the Harvard Health newsletter. Thigh circumference matters. Well, I'll drink to that. That works for me because this is one that is a little bit counterintuitive. But the study didn't say if it was due to muscle mass or fat. But in any case, I'll take it. Well, we come to the close of another show. I have an educational website on stress management, totally free, turnonyourinnerlight.com, where all the radio shows with the guest experts are archived for your listening pleasure. Subscribe to my free newsletter from turnonyourinnerlight.com, and you will have the latest radio show with the guest expert, a fresh new article on stress management, and the health tips fully delineated emailed directly to you from turnonyourinnerlight.com. Have a wonderful week and see you on the radio.